Just a disclaimer, I am in no way trying to tell you what to believe or anything of that sort, so if it comes off that way, I'm sorry, I'm just sharing an experience. This story takes place in Knoxville, Tennessee in the summer of 2013. This is the summer I like to call my Born to Die summer. That's because you know how in certain parts of your life you kind of relate it to a certain work of music or an album or something of that sort? Well, that summer completely applied to the album Born to Die. Or vice versa. Anyways, throughout this entire summer, there were 4 main characters who this story is going to involve. Myself, of course, my best friend Christy, my best friend Renato, and my other best friend CJ. These 4 people will be the, only people you hear about in this entire story, so remember those names. Now, to premise this story, my family owns their own business, and with this business comes different, work events that are out of state, and usually when these events happen, we take the whole family and go on, a road trip. This particular summer I was working and I was unable to get off for work, so I ended up having the house all to myself. Of course, being that I was, I would have been a junior in high school, it was prime opportunity to have friends over. Just do your own thing, basically have free reign of an entire house for an entire, I want to say it was a week. So of course I hit up my 3 best friends and I was like, hey guys, I have the house all to myself, come over, we will be rambunctious, we will have fun, we will do basically whatever we want. And of course they did. So they came over and we start setting up for a great weekend. We start, doing age-appropriate things, and we get age-appropriate drinks, and we get, are you following? Are you getting what I'm Before any of the fun or any of the cliche teenage partying begins, we have to run some errands. Now, I don't remember specifically what we were going to get, but I remember CJ was like, hey, I have to go get something. And then Christy was like, I'll go with you. And I was like, okay, well, I'll stay back with Renato, and we will just kind of do our own thing, finish getting set up. We had some things we needed to get out of the way before the night began, so it was perfect. 2 of them left, and they took off. And then me and Renato were there, and we were like, alright, let's get everything ready. We start setting up for a fun night and all this stuff, and then suddenly my phone rings. Now, I pick up my phone, and the next thing I hear is, hey, Zach, it's CJ. Yeah, so my car broke down, and I'm waiting on a tow truck. I'm sitting by the road with Christy, and I was just wondering if you had jumper cables and by chance could come jump my car. And of course, I have jumper cables because my car used to do that all the time. So I loaded up my car and I said, hey Renato, I'll be right back, just watch the house. My neighbor had a key because she was technically house sitting my dogs, which I don't understand why I couldn't do that. But, whatever, I digress. I got in my car and I said, Renato, I'll be right back, and I went to CJ. So I drove down the street, as you do, listening to music, whatever. I pull up next to him and he's on the side of a busy road. And I pull up and I say, hey guys, let's get this party rolling. And so I pull in front of his car and we try to jump off his car, but it doesn't work. And we keep trying and trying and trying and it doesn't work. And finally I'm like, dude, I don't think it's gonna happen. And he's like, dude, I really agree. And Christy's like, dude, I also agree. So we pick up the phone and we call a tow truck. And this tow truck, for some reason, takes forever to get there. We're literally standing by the side of this busy road for I feel like an hour and a half, if not longer. And that's before we even got confirmation that the truck was coming. So we are standing there and waiting and waiting and waiting, and suddenly my phone rings again. So I pick up, and it's Renato. And the next thing I hear is kind of unsettling. Basically, Renato's completely out of breath, and he says, dude, I'm so sorry, I just ran all the way down to my house, I don't know what happened. I was sitting on your stairs, and I felt this voice speak through me. It was like it spoke into one ear and went right through my head and came out the other ear, and it freaked me out so bad that I took off running, and I'm so sorry I left your front door open, but I had to run down to my house. I just had to get out of there. I'm so sorry. And I said, what does that even mean? And he said, Zach, I'm being completely serious. Just pick me up from my house when you get home. I'm just gonna be down here. Just, okay. Renato, by the way, lives right down the street. Anyways, I say, okay, well, I hang up and I tell them what happened, and they're like, that was weird. And the general consensus is, that was weird. So everybody around is like, well, we can't do anything. We're just gonna have to wait for the tow truck. Finally, 30 minutes after the phone call, a tow truck pulls up and we load up his car, which I think was his mom's car. God, we were high schoolers. Anyways, we load up the car and we then get in my car and we head back to my place. So we go to my place and of course we stop and pick up Renato on the way there and we get him in the car and he is shook. I have honestly, in my entire time knowing him, never seen him so like freaked out by something so like obscure. Usually we're all about that kind of stuff, but he was really freaked out and so I was like, dude, like, I don't know what to say. And so we come to my house and finally we like walk in and Renato's like, oh gosh, I hope Lucy doesn't mess with us. Haha, Lucifer. Lucifer, you get it? He was making a joke. And I was like, ha ha ha, very funny. See, the thing that I hadn't told them is that previously I had witnessed some like creepy stuff happen in my house. It was after the 88.1 video and all that stuff occurred. And then I had some experiences later at night, like the following weeks up until this point, because this is all very close together. So like all this stuff takes place. And I didn't tell them because I didn't want them to think I was crazy, so I was like, haha, whatever. But then he started making the jokes and I just played along with them and I was like, haha, Lucy's haunting my house, little girl ghost kind of thing. We're really freaked out though, like on the inside, and so we like scope my whole house to see if there's anyone in my house. Like we have our flashlights on our phones and we're like peering around every corner, freaked out, trying to figure out what's going on. Finally, we like kind of come to the conclusion that, hey, no one's in my house. We're all good. Let's get this party started. We're all kind of on edge, but we're just gonna brush it off. We're not gonna let it get in the way of a good night. We bring all the party essentials in there, all those age-appropriate drinks, and we sit down and we're like having a good time. We're talking and laughing and we're like making fun of like everything that occurred that night. Also, that's when this took place. But anyway, so we have fun and we have a good time, and then like throughout the night we're like poking fun at CJ because he absolutely doesn't believe in ghosts and there is no shaking that foundation. He's like, y'all are crazy, there's no such thing as ghosts, whatever. And like in my experience, if you're in that much denial, something's gonna happen. So we're like minding our own and me, Christy, and Renato are like, hey, ghosts are real. And he's like, no, he's not having it. So the night carries on. Eventually it's like 3 a.m. and we are exhausted. Let's turn and go to bed. Christy, Renato, you guys can sleep in this one room and then me and CJ are gonna sleep in the other room and then we will meet up in the morning for day 2. God, it sounds like a festival. Picture it like this. I'm in one hallway with CJ, Christy and Renato are in another hallway. We leave the hallway light on so that like, I feel like I'm on an airplane. We leave the hallway light on so that like, in case we have to get up in the night or we're, okay, to be honest, we were scared. So we left the light on, we went to bed, and then right as we shut our doors and like say goodnight or whatever, the light goes off. And I sit there for a second, I'm like, CJ, do you believe me now? And he was like, no. It had to have been Renato or Christy. It had to have been Renato or Christy. And so I pick up my phone and I text Renato and I text Christy and I'm like, hey, because we had a group chat going. So I was like, hey guys, did you guys just turn off the lights? And they were like, we thought you did. And so now we're a little bit shook and I'm just like laughing at CJ because he absolutely doesn't believe it. He's like, no way, this isn't real. This isn't real, whatever. And I'm like, I told you. And you didn't listen to me. The night concludes, we go to sleep, and we wake up the next morning for day 2 of Zactchella. I woke up, but Christy, Renato, and CJ had to go do something. They had to run some kind of errand. I want to say it was for Christy's mom, but I could be wrong. And they had to like get a change of clothes and stuff like that. So they take off, and so I go to get ready to shower. So I go in the bathroom, take off all my clothes, turn on the water, and then this brilliant idea comes to me. Okay, so you know how the shower, when it's really hot, if you don't turn on the fan, then the whole bathroom fogs up, right? Common sense. Okay, now fun fact, when my parents were out of town, they had a really nice bathroom with a really nice shower, and I, of course, am gonna take advantage of it. Now this bathroom was strictly off limits to the kids when the parents were in town. They were just like weird about it or something, and they like didn't like that like we were messy kids and we would leave their bathroom a mess, so they were like, off limits, no. And so I took full advantage of the fact that they were out of town and I took a shower in their bathroom. Now to lay out their bathroom, basically it's a shower right here, a jacuzzi tub right here, and a mirror above the jacuzzi tub. And as the bathroom is fogging, I'm like watching the mirror fog, and I think to myself, I can mess with Christy, CJ, and Renato. And so, one thought comes to mind. I'm gonna write Lucy. That's what we'd been calling the ghost all night. Everyone's still kind of shooken up from it, but like things have kind of settled since it's a new day. I'm gonna get him. And so I go over there as the bathroom's fogging up and I write Lucy on the mirror. And I pick up my phone and I go to take a picture and I go, and I send a little text that says like, guys, you will not believe what I just saw when I got out of the shower. And they freak out. But it's not until they start describing why they're losing it that I really fully comprehend what is exactly going on. Now, they keep replying, oh my god, do you see that? And I'm like, yes, it says Lucy. And they reply again and they say, no, that's not what I'm talking about. Look to the right. And I go, what are you talking about? There's nothing to the right. And then I look closely and I zoom in a little bit, and what do I see? Oh my god, it still gives me chills. I see a handprint just smacked right there next to the mirror, a small child's handprint, too small to be anyone that lives in my house, and I lose it. I'm like, oh my god, this is the creepiest freaking photo I've ever seen in my life. I'm gonna keep it forever. That is Lucy's handprint. I didn't Photoshop this, I didn't make it up. You guys can believe me if you do, you can not if you don't. I don't really mind, it's what happened, and I just really thought I would share it with you. A lot of other stuff has happened in my house. Maybe I'll make this into a series and like progressively tell more of the stories that occurred in my house. I hope you guys liked this video, I hope you guys liked the story, I hope you guys thought it was interesting, I hope it was everything you hoped for, and I hope you guys are ready to see another scary story next week. Because this whole month is going to be chock full of them. But yeah. Comment below if you have any stories that relate to it. I want to know your opinion on the photo. I want to know if you want to see more photos, because I have some other creepy photos that I could flash up for you guys. Yeah, so I'm gonna go. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you guys on the flip side.